Welcome to the Explainer. Let's be real for a second. If the constantly rising cost of groceries has you completely stressed out, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're demystifying the Arizona SNAP application. We're going to confidently navigate a process that honestly can feel like a total maze. If you've been wondering how to actually secure these essential benefits without getting entirely lost in the system, well, you are in exactly the right place.
We've got to acknowledge the elephant in the room here. The stress of rising food costs is very, very real. Whether you're working full-time and just barely scraping by, trying to manage a growing family, or maybe living on a fixed income as a senior, you might just need a little bit of help. But the sheer intimidation that so many of us feel when facing government bureaucracy, it stops a lot of people before they even start. The endless forms, the confusing rules, the heavy terminology, it can all seriously seem like it's designed to keep you out.
But I want to reassure you right out of the gate, securing benefits through Arizona's state online portal is incredibly manageable. It's actually a beautifully structured process once you get the hang of it. Once you understand the playbook, it takes all the guesswork completely out of the equation. You can absolutely do this. And by the end of this explainer, you're going to feel so empowered to just go ahead and take action.
Okay, let's dive right into it. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover what Arizona SNAP actually is, how to know if you qualify, how to navigate the online application, the whole ID verification process, your next steps and interviews, and we'll wrap up with some really helpful pro tips and our standard disclaimer.
Starting off with Section 1, what exactly is Arizona SNAP? Well, you might also know it as nutrition assistance. This is a federally mandated program, but it's managed locally by the Department of Economic Security to help low-income households afford food using a monthly EBT card.
Moving right along to Section 2, do you qualify? We really need to look at the updated eligibility rules here, because this is where a lot of people mistakenly count themselves out before they even try. There was a massive policy shift that happened in March 2026. Arizona officially expanded its gross income eligibility standard to 200% of the federal poverty level for most households. It's under a policy called expanded categorical eligibility. So what does that actually mean for you? It means significantly more working families can now qualify. For instance, a single person can have a gross monthly income up to $2,610. A family of four, they can make up to $5,360 a month and still pass that very first eligibility test. And yep, the limit goes up for each additional family member. Plus, there is no asset limit for standard households in Arizona anymore. So having a savings account won't automatically disqualify you, which is huge.
Now this brings us to a super crucial point. You have to understand the difference between gross income and net income. Honestly, getting this confused is the #1 reason people think they don't qualify. Gross income is your total household income before any taxes are taken out. So your job pay, self-employment, unemployment, the whole shebang. Net income, on the other hand, is what's left after allowable SNAP deductions are calculated. To actually get the benefits, your net income has to fall below 100% of the federal poverty level.
And this right here brilliantly illustrates why you shouldn't just glance at your gross paycheck and throw in the towel. Arizona allows for some really specific deductions that lower your countable income. You automatically get a 20% deduction on earned income just for working. Then you get to deduct high rent or mortgage payments, utility bills using the state standard utility allowance, and childcare costs. And if your household includes someone who is 60 or older or someone with a disability, the rules get even better. You get to bypass the gross income test entirely, and you can deduct out-of-pocket medical expenses that are over $35 a month. So even if you think you make way too much money, these deductions are literal game changers.
All right, Section 3, navigating the online application through the Healthy Arizona Plus portal, also known as HE Plus. Before you start clicking around in this 24/7 portal, there's a major system trap that you really need to avoid. I need you to pay really close attention to this warning. When you're in the HEA Plus system, you might see an option pop up for Hospital Presumptive Eligibility, or HPE. Do not select this if you are looking for food benefits. If you accidentally route your application into the HPE medical stream, the portal system logic is going to automatically disable the option to apply for nutrition assistance. No way around it. So if you see this, you must select the Return to Full Application command to keep your SNAP request alive. Actually, setting up your account is basically just a simple 4-step process. First up is demographic entry, just your standard name, address, and phone number. Second is email registration. And yes, you absolutely need a valid email address to apply online. Third is credential setup, where you'll pick a username, password, and those security questions. And finally, PIN activation.
The system instantly emails you a temporary PIN, you just plug that PIN in to activate the account. From that point on, it should take you maybe 20 to 45 minutes to get through the entire application. Which brings us to Section 4, ID verification and documents. Because Arizona needs to safeguard your personal info, they enforce a pretty rigorous identity proofing process the very first time you log in. So, step 1 is filling out the Tell Us More screen. This is where you input your social security number, gender, and date of birth. Let me give you a massive pro tip here. Double and triple check your spelling. Make sure you account for any recent name changes, like from a marriage or a divorce. Literally a single typo here will cause the automated system to fail you.
Step 2 is simple but essential. It's the consent screen. You have to read the text and physically check the box that says, "I agree to allow HEA Plus to check information sources and prove my identity." If you don't consent, the whole automated process grinds to a halt and it will significantly slow down your application.
Then, in Step 3, things can feel a little intimidating, but I promise it's completely standard. You'll face a Federal Hub multiple-choice security questionnaire. Basically, the system generates random dynamic questions pulled from your personal credit profile. It might ask about an auto loan you had back in 2010 or previous addresses you've lived at. You just answer them to the best of your ability so you can proceed electronically.
But what if you don't really have a credit history? Or what if you just mess up an answer? Don't panic. If the Federal Hub fails, the system automatically checks state databases. If that fails, it refers you to the Experian Help Desk. And if every single automated tier fails, you are not denied. You simply drop down to a manual fallback option. That just means taking a nice, clear photo of your government ID, like a driver's license, and uploading it directly into the portal. Just double-check that your file size is under the 16-megabyte limit.
All right, Section 5, next steps in interviews. You've hit submit. Woohoo! But what actually happens now?
First things first, keep a very close eye on your physical mailbox. This trips a lot of people up. You might get a text saying you have a new document in your online portal, but when you log in, it's not there. That's because the system's protocols require them to mail a paper letter to your home first. On that paper letter is a unique 6-digit application access code. You absolutely must enter that code into the portal to securely link your paper case files to your digital account. And remember, that code is only valid for 60 days, so whatever you do, do not throw away state mail.
As for the timeline, standard applications have to be fully processed within 30 calendar days. However, if you're facing immediate food insecurity, say you have less than $100 in the bank and you make less than $150 a month, you're going to be screened for expedited emergency SNAP. If you're eligible for that, your benefits must be approved and deposited onto an EBT card within just 7 calendar days. It moves incredibly fast. Now listen carefully to this part. Your application is absolutely not complete without an interview. This eligibility interview is 100% mandatory. Do not just sit around waiting for them to call you. It is your responsibility to proactively pick up the phone and call the statewide interview line at 1-855-777-8590. They're open weekdays between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. For expedited cases, you have to do this within 7 days. For standard cases, within 10 days. During this call, the eligibility worker is going to confirm all your info and calculate your actual net income to finalize your benefit amount. Wrapping things up today with Section 6, helpful tips for long-term success and our quick disclaimer. I want to leave you with a few pro tips to make sure you succeed long-term. First, opt into automated text reminders. Just text JOIN FAA to 8668. It's a lifesaver for not missing deadlines. Second, once you're actually approved, your case maintenance moves over to a totally different site called the My Family Benefits portal. You'll use that for tracking your active case and uploading renewal docs. Third, don't forget about work requirements. If you're aged 16 to 59 and able-bodied, you generally need to register for work or maintain 20 hours a week unless you qualify for a specific exemption. Caseworkers are mandated to review this with you during your interview. And lastly, always upload your required documents directly to the portal. Never hand over your original physical documents to a field office, because their policy is to scan them and shred them. And of course, it wouldn't be an explainer without a quick disclaimer. Government guidelines, income limits, and program rules can and absolutely do shift over time. The information we've covered today is based on the latest available 2026 data, but you should always verify your specific situation directly with official Arizona Department of Economic Security sources or consult with a professional if you've got really unique eligibility questions. So you now have the ultimate playbook. You know how to calculate your real income, avoid those tricky portal traps, and securely verify your identity.
Don't let a bunch of digital paperwork stand between you and the groceries you need. You can start your application today at healtharizonaplus.gov. But, it really begs the question. If navigating SNAP was this manageable once you actually knew the rules, what other essential benefits might you be missing out on just because the bureaucracy feels too heavy? Stay curious, keep exploring your options, and we will see you in the next explainer.